This is what we were discussing. We finished this. We talked about this. Then we try to define this and categorize this. I think this is more or less now clear. But don't. I'm not saying it's clear. This is not so very clear for even the finance people. I mean, it's still evolving. Don't worry about that. But basically, we have understood what this is about. Why this classification? What? How can you say something is an asset? How can you say something is a liability? But now, as we do more, as we come to the end of this course, or we'll be clear as why this division is being done and what this division means in terms of understanding the financial position of a organization of as individuals. What does this mean? What does this mean when you say you have money in the form of assets this much, money in the form of liabilities this much, expenses is this much, income is this much? What is its effect? So all these things will come towards the end of this. So then it will become more clear why this classification, what is the purpose of this classification, why is this being done, how is it affecting our financial position. That is what we are aiming at, not just defining some things and all. But fine. Now I'm going to the next thing where I'll be just the same thing. I'm just giving you a okay. This is finished again. This is again something we discussed last time, which you were very clear, because when I said rent, Jyotish said if somebody who pays rent is for them it is expenses, but to those who receive rent it is income. So even that thought which came to Jyotish, and again for Dish, everybody, etc., that itself is an indication that you understand that income and expenses, it can both can happen. So salary also, for somebody who pays the salary, employer, it comes as an expense. For those who receive, it is an income. So that concept has been clear now. That is very good that it is clear. So I am very happy with that. So there is no need of further discussion on this. Okay, plant and machinery, and even this is what I was very. This is what we ended up education. I was just asked about educational fees being paid to for your studies. Is that expense? So is it an expense or is it a asset? Then without I didn't say anything about expenses. I just, when I mentioned about education, immediately I think Jyotish said that is an asset. Why that very thought which you are having, saying that, oh, education, okay, although, see, you should see it in the long term, see how that vision is coming. See, right from class 1, maybe school education, your the family is paying money in the form of fees every month or every quarter, every yearly they are paying. So to see that each expenses that is going out from my budget, my finance, to see that, oh, that this is going to be an asset. I am creating an asset here. I am creating an asset here. Only to, for those who have that vision, can say that this is actually, I'm not an expense of mine. But if there is no vision like that, then we'll see, oh my God, every every month I have to pay fees. See, you just take the case of a society, our Indian society, or any society for that matter, I mean, developing or non-developed. We have great inequality in the world. So there are a lot of societies, so states or societies, people who see educating their children as a, "Oof, it is an expense. It is something. Why should we? I don't have enough income to survive that. So why should I do that?" There are a lot of people who see that giving paying for their education is, and that becomes more important. See, I'm saying particularly see the our situation in our society where there are a lot of places where people who think that educating our girl children, our girls, is not at all which something which is going to be remunerative or good for the family or good for themselves, not for the family, even for the children. We are educating them so that they can stand on their own, they'll be financially independent, they can earn income, they'll get a job or they'll do something of their own. That thought is not coming to many people. That's why even if they there are a lot of instances even now in our society, there are instances where people think, oh, I have three children or two boys are there, one girl is there, oh girl, I will stop teaching her after this class 10 maybe, or class 5, class 8. So she is not going to be an earning member. She has to again go to a family and she has to be there. She will be doing household works. So why should I? She has to have only the basic skills to manage a house. So this is still a mentality, no? And there are situations, very very pathetic situations, where people uh, even before the birth they determine the gender of the baby, and they if they think that it's not a boy, they think, oh my god, this is going to be an expense to her. This very child who's going to take birth is going to be a is going to be a lifelong expense. So should we have it? This is reality. So that's why, see, so what I the point I am making here is, see, the point I am making here is uh, asset, liability, expenses, income, we can classify it. But yesterday also I said there is no hard and fast rule. There is no hard and fast rule saying that this is an asset. Maybe this is an asset, this is a liability, this is an expense, this is an income. That is what is now clear to you. See, we may be clear on in some aspects, like cash is an asset, loan is a liability. See, even those aspects to classify them has evolved over the years. See, has evolved over maybe 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. It has evolved. Understand? Cash must have after currency has come. Cash must have been treated as an asset. Maybe some some 300 or 200, 300 years old. But many things over here, like loan, that, this, etc. That's also have evolved over the years only. Similarly, there are many, many more things which are about to evolve, which still has to evolve, which still has to evolve. That is where you people are important. This is not a class where I am saying this is an asset, this is a liability. No, there is no, it is beyond me. It is beyond me. It is beyond any person who teaches you. That is not a matter of only money management, any course, anything. We can only give you a direction. See, this is what is happening. This is how it has evolved. This is where it is going. Tomorrow, what is going to be an asset, how we should treat something is, that is the vision of the society, which today's young people like you will discuss it and evolve. That is what is about. When I show you the next, what I'm showing you next, it will be more clear. For example, I'll just tell you, this is just an insight, and that has already worked, because when I placed fees, you already said, why can't we treat this as an asset? Okay, fine. Think aloud. You have already done that. Elephant. This is an elephant, no?
Yes,
Can
sir.
everybody see it?
Yes, sir.
What is
Yes, sir. It's a
what is this? Is this something? Is this? Can you financially? What is this?
sir,
Uh,
an asset.
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 okay. You are saying
Sir,
asset.
income.
Who is saying income?
Sir, even expense.
Sir, income and expense.
Income and expense. So the same people are saying all these things. No, you can do that. That cannot be done. And Yodish may know an electron can be found in a or only at a particular moment. Maybe you can disturb it, but next moment it may change. But at a particular moment, you have to say you have to fix something. At a
So
particular,
basically, it's an asset. It's
So
an asset.
basically, it's an asset only.
It's an asset.
so you lock kiya jaye. Okay, okay. You are saying it is asset. Then does anybody have a different thought whether it is an asset or whether it is something else? Why can't it be this? Again, I'm saying you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. See, this is all about interpretation and debate and discussion and fixing it. Okay, fine. Anybody has a different thought? How can you say this is an asset? Maybe just give an example to say. Just give a rational rationality to your statement. This is an asset. Who is going to come up? Jyotish, you are going to say why you said it is an asset.
Sir, because for people like they can sell it to the zoo or wildlife. No, not wild. So zoo and such kinds of things like that.
Okay, so
They
this
used
means so you are you want to this is like gold, is it? You are purchasing as elephant and then you are selling it, reselling it, or a building. You are building, you are purchasing a flat and then you are selling it. That's why
Sir,
you
it's
say
like
it's
a
an asset.
car.
It's a car. How can you say it is a car?
So sometimes it's also used like
Ah.
for giving some this thing. Okay. So like a trip and all that, like that.
For what?
Sir, like they used to make people to they can like ride on the elephant and like that also, like a how like a taxi.
Oh, okay, like a taxi. Oh, in which place?
Sir, in some areas, not like a taxi, they don't get to areas at all, but they just give an experience of riding on an elephant.
Wonderful. Tourist. You mean a
Yes,
tourist?
sir.
It is a tourist. It can be used in tourist destinations, etc. You're saying, eh?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. And okay, fine, fine. I will come back to you. Anybody else?
Sir, it can be an income.
Rishikesh, say how can it be an income? Please say.
So the owner can rent it for Puram or other festivals, and they will get.
He's coming from that land. He knows that. See, Jyotish, did you understand? Radish,
Yes,
I'll come
sir.
back to you. Jyotish or Radish, you understood what he's saying, Rishikesh?
Yes, sir. Even I understand.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
So for festivals and all, they used to so
This
elephant.
Kerala people, the Kerala
Yes,
people,
sir. Like even
Yes, sir.
during Onam or something.
Yes, sir.
not Onam. Actually, Kerala, this Kerala is very, I don't know whether to say whether they're culturally great or notorious. I don't know. Anyhow, they take these elephants and these elephants are standing there for Puram festivals. Isn't it very attractive? But again, there is a lot of debate going on in society whether we should do this thing to elephants. Isn't it? Are we not harassing them, or is it not? We are doing cruelty to them. These things are being discussed. That's a different question. But as Rishikesh said, he says the elephants can be rented out. See, Rishikesh is a very very wealthy from a very wealthy family. He has a lot of money. He has inherited a lot of property, etc. So there are people like him who may purchase elephants, elephants from the forest, from Bihar or from Assam or from some place they have purchased. Okay, so that elephant is there, and whenever this festival comes, they give it for festivals, rent it at a very high price. Not only that, Rishikesh, any other utility where you can give for elephants in Kerala or in,
Yes, it, they can use to pull big,
yes, correct.
uh, big tree pieces,
Tree
and
pieces
Yes,
and
sir. To carry loads.
carry loads, etc., etc. Okay, right. So that is there. So yeah, now it's clear. So that means this elephant can generate income. Like similarly, as our Rishikesh Radish said about car, etc., being rented. So that's purpose. But let me ask you, see, how can you maintain this elephant? How much it eats?
So we have expense on like protect having giving shelter for it and food.
Yes, yeah, we need to maintain it. We need a lot of money. That is the same thing. The same thing is applicable to our car also. The petrol prices are increasing day by day. No control. What can a common man do?
Different.
So that is day by day our expenses are increasing. One day it will come. But what we do as the expenses are increasing, because this is an asset, naturally we will increase the. What will happen if petrol prices are increasing? I will give a car on tourist purposes for say rupees 15 per kilometer. As the petrol prices increases, what will happen? Naturally,
That will be increased.
I will raise my cost, right,
Yes.
of service.
Yes.
Tomorrow I will say 17 rupees, right? So this is what is happening in the society economically. What is happening? So expenses are to maintain something is increasing means naturally the cost of service, because as long as we treat this as an asset, our expenses should be covered by the income, right? Right?
Yes. Yes.
Right. So that is
Sir.
where I think our that Tamil Nadu finance minister is. You can hear Tamil Nadu. You are from Tamil Nadu. This new person. You can hear his some there is some talks. He has interviews. He is given into. He is a very renowned financial corporate financial management person. He is now the minister, and he has given some thoughts about how he is subsidizing this basic amenities like petrol, that, this, etc., which is creating a good effect in the society. See, you cannot leave some things as simply, oh, petrol, if it, let it increase. As if that happens, again the cost of everything will increase, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is where the financial management comes. Your expenses, so services will increase. That management is what we are talking about. That is what is required. Not just classification. This is not an academic exercise saying this is an asset, this is a liability, this is an asset. No. How does this affect? That is the thought process you're having, and you're already having it. Very good. So we'll put it as asset. Okay. Now comes this one. Can you read it, Vishnu? Why came
Inventory.
Inventory. What is the meaning of that? Inventory.
Sir, a documentation of goods or stocks of goods.
What is the final word you said?
So stocks.
Excellent. Inventory. Don't say documentation. You can say documentation. This is all about documentation. What we are talking about here, but it's not just documentation. It is a physical hold up of what you said. See, whatever you have with you, stock. Whatever you are. This is already we discussed, because we said no, in a hotel, in a restaurant, a person is having a hold up of food. That's what we discussed. So when we are going to have food in a restaurant, in our when we order something and we pay that for food, it is an expense. But that that hotel owner, he is purchasing a lot of items for preparing food, and that in his. Now just listen to what I'm saying. You are a hotel person, or any person of that, maybe hotel person, or a farmer, or anything, or anybody who produces something, manufactures something. What you will have, it is a process. A manufacturing is a process. How it is a process? You will have a lot of raw materials, maybe vegetables, that, this. Take the example of hotel. They will purchase vegetables, they will purchase meat, they will purchase spices, and that will be there in the stock in the kitchen. And there may be some, they will start processing, preparing food. So they'll prepare food. They know how much food is, how much, how many people are per day are coming for their into to their hotel. So every time one person comes and orders, they cannot prepare their food. It's not that way. They'll prepare. They already they will prepare some out of the total stock from the vegetables. Not everything they'll take. Maybe they'll take some and start already they'll cook and keep it. So that is also a stock. You don't know how many people maybe towards the end night what will be in the stock. There may be some raw vegetables will be there. There may be some cooked food may be there. This is case happens in everything, not only this food. I'm saying anything. A farmer will need some pesticides or fertilizers or seeds. when the season comes, he has to sow it, and he may also have some crop which is already on the field. It's in the process of cultivation. It may be in different stage of cultivation. Some he must have already sowed the field, and it may be the finished paddy grains will be maybe in his stock. He has not yet taken it to the market. Are you understanding what I'm saying, friends? Are you
Yes.
understanding? I think
Yes.
you're. So
Yes, sir.
what I'm saying is, this hold up of when you're doing something, this hold up of goods is always there. It is not work to order. It may not be work to order. It may not be. Because as somebody asks something, you cannot immediately say, I'll take some 1 hour and I'll give it to you. He will go away. So you must have some goods with you. If you're a trader, you take the simple shop you have in your near your house, simple shop. That shopkeeper has to hold toffees, books. Suppose he has he must your chocolates. He must have hold up. He must, if suppose he's selling books, some books, notebooks he must have, some pens he must have, some whatever you ask for, he must have something in the shop. In the night when he goes, he locks the shops and goes. So that is his stock. And what is that? What is that? How do you classify that? This is my question. How do you classify that? The money is spent on that and it is in the hold up. What
Sir,
is that?
asset.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Sir, asset.
Okay, fine. And just I'm going to do a practical. This is not, I said, this is not just an academic thing. Suppose something next day, something happens, something which unexpected happens, or a thief has stolen something from his shop, or for the farmer, this heavy rains or floods have come and everything is washed away for the farmer, or the shopkeeper, some thief has come and it has stolen. Or you take the case of shipment. Big shipments are happening. Big ships are carrying loads of tons of material from one place to another, across the continents, across the countries. You must have heard last few months back, one ship was caught in the midway of Suez Canal. It was held up for, that was a big news. I don't know, I don't remember the name of that carrier in the Suez
Sir,
Canal.
evergreen.
Evergreen.
Everyone. And that was and that problem every countries took it. Why they are taking it up? Why they are taking, every country is taking one. This is becoming just a ship is getting caught on the Suez Canal. Why it is becoming a big issue? And so if something, that ship drowns or something happens, what will you do? What is this? Is not a categorization, money categorization question. This is a practical question of what happens. What is the remedy for all this? How can you make up for this?
We want
Sir, we will have.
insurance on it.
Sir, we'll have
Pardon?
insurance.
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 Right. That is where things like insurance is coming. See how, you know, how this is all related. Now I'm just telling you one thing. See, I'm just telling you one thing. You are paying. Listen to my question carefully. How does this insurance work? Do you know how insurance system works? Can anybody say how this insurance is happening? Just don't think very complicated way. How is? Do you have any insurance? First of all. See, think it. Every thought should come from your own.
Sir, on car and all.
You are having. You means you are saying you are having a car, or what is this insurance? And when are you? How are you paying it? What is
Sir,
So
happening?
like when
Yes, Radish, come in first.
sir, when you are in the risks like health or a car or something like that, this insurance policy will cover up the cost of your damage or your loss.
Fine, fine. And how is that insurance being paid? I'm saying. What do you call that? If you don't forget the name, how is it being paid? How is your car insurance being paid?
So regular payments.
Okay, very good. Regular means can you more clarify on that?
Fixed payments.
Regular means every day, every month,
No,
every
sir,
week,
every month, every month.
every month. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Something you have to say? There are there are different types. Maybe you say your car. It's maybe yearly, not every month. You pay it. I'm not saying hard and fast road. You say normally we pay insurance once when we purchase the car. Maybe they'll get an insurance for this much period. After that, maybe every year you have to renew your insurance. That happens for health insurance also. I'm not saying about life insurance. This premium which you're paying. Health insurance, that means hospitalization related medical insurance. All these things are premiums are normally paid every year. Okay, okay, fine that. We are not be worried about whether it is yearly or something. I'm not saying anything that we call insurance premium. Okay. Now the question here is, what is that? If suppose I am paying that expense, I am paying that money. I am a person and I am paying every year. I am paying a insurance for my car. Maybe say 14,000 rupees or 12,000 rupees every year. 12,000 rupees or 14,000 rupees I am paying every year. How should I, what type of category that payment will come? This is the question I'm asking.
Expense or
So liability.
So liability.
Liability.
Liability means, okay, you come in. Anybody can say. This insurance is actually, we can say, I don't see why I am paying insurance. I am paying insurance whether if something happens to my car, I put it in an accident, then something maybe I'll have to spend some 50,000 or 60,000 rupees, maybe. I don't know. And I have taken insurance cover. That is the same thing which is happening in inventory also. When I have a stock, I insure that stock. For insurance means if something happens, and then there are maybe I'll not get the full amount, but if something happens of that sort, that insurance company will cover the damages. For farmer there may be insurance, for the shopkeeper there may be insurance, for this transporters, logistics people there may be insurance. They will take insurance because on the while they're traveling, many things may happen, but it may nothing may happen also. In most cases, nothing will happen. In most cases, nothing will happen, isn't it? Most cases, nothing will happen. Nobody is going to rob you, but it can happen. It may happen. So you are just covering that something which loss which may come up. So normally, when you pay that every month, it is going to be an expense, that insurance, because nothing has happened. Okay, that has gone, but it is only a cover to our thing. So why it's not a liability? It's not a liability because liability is something what you are committed to pay. You're committed to pay. But of course, when again I'm saying this is all interpretation. If you buy a car without insurance, you cannot put you cannot take that car in our roads. It's a rule of the country. So if you have a car, whatever insurance you have to pay, you can say that I am liable. You can, if you're in your accounts, you can say in your financial thing, if you're a very person who plans very well, you can say, oh, this much I have to pay insurance, so this is a liability. I know I will to pay, not today, maybe on next October my insurance is expiring, so on that day I may have to pay this. You can put a amount and put it as a liability. That is good, fine. So the way you interpret is very important. But finally, it's not an asset. It is a coverage for the asset. Okay, fine. This will be more clear as it goes. Okay, don't worry. I think now the inventory is an asset. The stock you hold is an asset. When I talked about this, I just told about the concept of insurance. That's all. I didn't intend to say that because you are interacting in a very futuristic and imaginative way. I just brought the case of insurance. Fine. Let me move forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here is something. I have written here knowledge. Can you say what this is?
Sir, asset.
Asset.
It's not surprising that Jyotish says it is an asset, because he already, the education he has already termed it as that expense as an asset. So he says knowledge. Now comes the very tricky question again.
Sir, it can be an income, because if we have a knowledge more than a 7th grade student, we can take tuition to a 7th grade student and we can get income.
So അതെ, അപ്പൊ അത് നോളജ് ഇൻകം അല്ലല്ലോ. സോ നോളജ് ഈസ് ആൻ
Knowledge
അസെറ്റ്.
income അല്ല, പക്ഷെ നോളജ് ഉപയോഗിച്ച് ഇൻകം ഉണ്ടാക്കാം.
അതുകൊണ്ട് ശരി, കറക്റ്റ്. അപ്പൊ അത് അസെറ്റ് എന്നാ പറയേണ്ടത്. സോ യു ഷുഡ് സേ ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് ആൻ അസെറ്റ്. ആനയെ വെച്ചിട്ട് അങ്ങനെയാണ് കാണേണ്ടത്. See, confusion ചെയ്യണ്ട. Confusion, don't need to confuse. With the elephant, you can generate income. That's elephant became an asset. With inventory, you can generate income. Tomorrow you can sell that and bigger. So it is an asset. With knowledge, as you said right now, you have knowledge. Now you can use that knowledge for taking tuition or whatever it may be. So that knowledge is definitely an asset. Okay. I'm asking a question. The tricky, see, everything I told you, this is all evolving. Don't think Krishnadas is coming here and taking this. He has classified it. Elephant is an asset. Inventory is an asset. Some things, okay, it's an asset. There may be no question. Cash, that, this, inventory, etc. But some things are still evolving. It keeps on evolving. So I'm just asking you.
Sir, for example, if a person goes to college, then that person might take educational loans, right? Then will that be liability?
You just say, you say. Well, I need not say. You are good enough to say. Ridish is going to going to do some higher studies, and you are going to a bank and take a loan. You're going to take a loan, right?
Yes, sir, but that comes under the category of loan, right? Not education.
No, you are taking a loan. It means that is
It is liability.
Liability.
Yes, sir. At that case, it's liability.
Loan is a liability. Loan is a liability. But again, after that, you are spending your fees, etc. How you want to treat is different. You are going to give fees and study, no?
Yes, sir.
That expenses, whether how you want to treat is the different question. Did you understand the difference?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Both are separate things. One is you're taking from a bank a loan. Of course, you have to repay it. It's a liability. Then you are paying it for to higher studies for something, university or something. How you should treat this? That is something which you are going to decide and fix for yourself, based on the concept of. Now, the question I'm asking here is, Vishnu is a very knowledgeable person. He has studied that, and he has a great experience. He has studied itself. He has done a lot of studies. He has taken that course, this course, computer science, management, everything he has taken. And he has started working also. He has now worked for 10 years, etc. And a company. I am an owner of a company. Okay, Krishnadas. I own a company, and I have taken Vishnu. Vishnu is coming into my organization, right? For a salary or something. Is my case clear here?
Yes,
is my
sir.
case clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is Vishnu my asset? Why? I am the organization. My organization is called Krishnadas Private Limited. I am running something, and Vishnu is now joining my company. He has knowledge of many things, and I know I can generate income with this person. And is Vishnu an asset? This is the question.
Sir, Vishnu is an asset.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir. It is an asset.
Okay.
What is Vishnu's opinion?
What is Vishnu's? Exactly. That is a perfect question. Sadish now has asked he has just nailed it. He has asked the perfect question. What is Vishnu's opinion? What is Vishnu's opinion? This is the perfect question. അപ്പൊ വിഷ്ണുവിന് പോകാൻ പറ്റില്ല. വിഷ്ണുവിന് ഉത്തരം പറഞ്ഞേ വരുള്ളൂ. വേണമെങ്കിൽ എക്സിറ്റ് അടിച്ച് പോവാം.
Sir, asset.
വിഷ്ണു ആലോചിച്ച് പറയണം.
Asset. Source of income.
ശരി, സമ്മതിച്ചു. ഇവിടെ ഒരു പ്രശ്നമുണ്ട്. Clemmy കഴിഞ്ഞ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പറഞ്ഞ പ്രശ്നമുണ്ട്. Clemmy, how did, wait 1 minute, I'll just ask you a question.
Sir, but he's not your property. You're like that.
Arre mone. This is the question that Clemmy told yesterday. Clemmy, how did she define asset? Can anybody say? Clemmy ഇന്നലെ എങ്ങനെയാണ്? How did Clemmy define asset yesterday?
Ownership.
In any class, there's supposed to be a teacher maybe, and listening only to him. No, you should listen to everybody saying. That is how you're going to sink your knowledge. So that's why I asked. So Rishikesh came up with that word which Clemmy used. She said ownership. Then I asked her, I countered her by saying, you own a chapel, whether it is an asset. Then she is, because she is not a celebrity, she said, my chapel is not an asset. But now it comes, do Krishnadas Private Limited I have an ownership over?
Yes, you
No,
are
sir,
giving
he can
salary.
leave.
No,
Yes,
sir.
I am given salary, but
Sir, he can leave without your like without.
do you remember our last week's class? Sadish said an important thing, very important thing. He said in a social evolution, he said a very important aspect. Do you remember? If you say that, I'll give Cadbury to that person. Last week, Sadish said a very important social aspect in human society, human evolution, so social evolution. He told about a stage. What you don't remember? He said about there was a system in the world, in the societies, of slavery, right?
Yes, of slavery.
Where, isn't it? Where like your elephant here, human beings were considered as property, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
In that case, property, Vishnu cannot go anywhere. Vishnu cannot go anywhere. Vishnu can be sold also to some other person. Oh, this all has happened in the history of mankind. Now you may think what this fellow is saying. No, this happened. This was there. So there was a time when some human beings were considered as assets. Full ownership. Just think of that situation. And I am saying this is not a somebody is owning and nobody is questioning. No. This was legal. What do you mean legal? This is in the law of that country. This is in the law of that country that I can own a man. I can own Vishnu. And that is why our Abraham Lincoln had to undergo a great turmoil in the United States. You go and read the history of Abraham Lincoln's apprenticeship. Because it was legal, yaar. It was legal. Non humanitarian consideration. Is it cruel? No, nothing about cruelty. It is by law. And then he had to fight it to abolish that. Now here we live now in a society where a person who can sell his labor is now free. The importance of the society we live in, which is called a capitalist society, the main freedom which this society gives you is for a laborer is that you can say, I am not going to work. I'm going to leave your company, I'm going there. I'm not talking about the contracts which you sign, notice period, that this. Again, when I say this, all these things will come. But nobody is owning you. In that case, you cannot say that Vishnu, you cannot take the Vishnu's value and say it is an asset. In your accounting purposes. See, again, be clear. I know that Vishnu coming to your company is an asset. No question about that. But that doesn't mean you can take Vishnu's value and put it in your financial statement. Say that Vishnu is this much, is worth this much, 20 lakhs, and I will show it in my balance sheet, in my financial statement. You cannot show a person. But companies have a system where knowledge, they make it company's property. My organization can, whatever, see, Vishnu may be doing some innovation or something. He is coming up some great thing. I can make that knowledge of Vishnu which he has used, I can package it, and I can make that my property. Understood? That is allowed in today's system. What do you call that? Can anybody say what do you call that?
Patenting.
That is where there is a better word. There is a bigger word, not better word. Patenting comes within, patent comes under something else. And there is a broader term. Can you say, anybody? ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ വിഷ്ണു, മനു?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
മനുവിന് മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ?
Sir.
I'm saying, what is this term? Broader term. Jyotish said patent. This is what patenting is all about. Innovate the company is patenting it. There is a broader term. Patent patent all comes under it. Very, very broader term. I know you know. I know you know. Okay. I'll give you the short form of that. It's called IPR. IPR. കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? Anybody? No. Intellectual property right എന്ന് കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? You have heard. Intellectual property right. Anybody?
Yes, sir.
അപ്പോൾ അതും എൻ്റെ കയ്യിലല്ല. Whatever I have said, you know. I know. That's why I am happy here. I have not told a single term here in my, so far the 4 classes where things you don't know. That is what is very good about this. But you couldn't put that in this context, because there is nothing new, because it is something currently latest from 1900 and 1970s, 1975, 1980s. You must have heard about this GATT, isn't it? GATT, GATT and all. Have you studied in your social science? WTO, GATT and all, World Trade. In history? No. Economics? No. Okay. So this all comes under, see, right from 1980s, etc. So the societies formally try to recognize this intellectual property, create laws for that, how you can patent, what will happening if you violate it, a patent, copyright, etc. Now you are living in that world. When you are using a software, you are saying, no, I agree, etc., etc. Don't you do that?
Yes, sir.
That is all about this intellectual property right and patenting, copyright. All this comes under this. So there are companies, and now the thing is that now the biggest companies in the world which are making high value profits, etc., are being able to do that because they own this knowledge. They have control over knowledge. Right? You are living in that era. So this is more than elephants. The era of elephants has gone. The era of inventory is also gone, because now you have come to a management, you are living in a management era where people are reducing their inventory to the minimum, because new technologies are there. No need to keep hold of the inventory. This is all in computers, everything is there. They can minimum hold up, but IPR, etc., is becoming an asset. Okay, fine. So not Vishnu is not going to be an asset, but that knowledge, if you can institutionalize it as your organizations, you can patent it, or you can make it intellectual property and do it. Now this
So then Vishnu is an income for the company.
Vishnu is an definitely
Expense
Vishnu,
and income.
whenever you are paying salary to Vishnu, it is an expense. The salary you are paying to Vishnu is an expense. But everything is not about money in this world. Although I am taking
Sir,
money.
but expenses giving us something, like, so like that we are getting the labor from Vishnu.
Yes, and we are getting labor, and you are converting that into services, and you are getting income, fees from the clients.
Yes, sir.
Vishnu is serving some, so that will come as service from clients. That will be in that category. That amount will be recorded. Okay, did you get that?
Yes,
And
sir.
this will be more. Don't worry, this will be more clear as we do our transaction case. Maybe next week it will be more clear. You should be there for the next week. Okay, fine. Now this is a work going on. A building work is going on. What is this?
Asset.
Okay, a building work is going on here.
Sir, an
Asset
asset.
and expense.
Expense and
Sir,
income.
expense.
Expense and income. How can
Sir,
you,
it's an asset.
Nitish,
Expense,
from now on,
income.
one thing is sure. If you say same thing, if you say two things, I will blacklist you. You should take a position.
Sir, it's an asset.
You should take a position to whom you are going to vote. It is for this
Sir,
party.
asset. Asset.
Yes, sir, asset.
Okay, fine. Already we have discussed this actually. When we were discussing a farmer is cultivating, he has seeds in his godown. That will come under what? Inventory, no?
Sir, I
Yes,
think
sir, the inventory.
Oh, somebody is thinking.
These all things are based on the referring object like movement and things.
Pardon? ഒന്നുകൂടെ clear ആക്കുക.
Sir, അതായത് ഈ റഫറിംഗ് ഒബ്ജക്റ്റിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണല്ലോ ഇൻകം ആണ് പിന്നെ എക്സ്പെൻസും ഉണ്ട്
Referring object അല്ല.
അസറ്റും ഉണ്ട്.
That's Rishikesh is saying the point. Whether it is an asset or income or something, it is based on the perspective, your angle of vision. Correct അല്ലേ? അതല്ലേ ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്?
Yes sir.
അത് കറക്റ്റ് ആണ്. അത് വിൽ കം ടു ദാറ്റ്. അതൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ അടുത്ത ക്ലാസ്സിൽ വരാൻ പോണ കാര്യം. നിങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പൊ തന്നെ പറഞ്ഞ പിന്നെ എനിക്കൊന്നും ഇവിടെ സ്ഥാനമില്ല. വെരി ഗുഡ്. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ഓൾറെഡി ഹാപ്പനിങ്. ബട്ട് നൗ ഐ എം സേയിങ്, നിങ്ങൾ ഞാനൊരു സാധനത്തിന് ഫിക്സ് ചെയ്യാണ്. ആംഗിൾ ഓഫ് വിഷൻ ഞാൻ ഫിക്സ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞു. വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദാറ്റ്? ഐ ആം കൺസ്ട്രക്ടിങ് എ ബിൽഡിംഗ് ഇൻ തൃശ്ശൂർ ടൗൺ. ഞാൻ ഒരു ബിൽഡിംഗ് കൺസ്ട്രക്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക തൃശ്ശൂർ ടൗണിൽ നടുക്ക്. കാരണം അത് ടൗണിൽ നടുക്ക് ഞാൻ കൺസ്ട്രക്ട് ചെയ്യാണ്. ക്ലിയർ ആയോ? അതിന്റെ അതിൽ എനിക്കിപ്പോ നൗ അത് പറഞ്ഞ് നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക. വർക്ക് ഈസ് ഗോയിങ് ഓൺ. നൗ ഐ ഹാവ് സ്പെൻഡ് ഓൾറെഡി 50 lakhs. ഇത്ര ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്, കുറെ ഫ്ലോറൊക്കെ ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്, 50 lakhs ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ആ 50 lakhsനെ ഞാൻ എങ്ങനെ അക്കൗണ്ട് ചെയ്യും? ഹൗ കൻ ഐ ക്ലാസിഫൈ ഇറ്റ്? ദിസ് ഇസ് എ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ. And this question is not, this is the image I have shown, but I am saying the same type of case I have already told you. I am a farmer. I have brought some seed, and it is in my godown. What is that seed?
Sir, it's dance.
What type of what do you call that seeds which are in my godown?
Asset.
But I need a specific term. It is
Inventory.
Inventory. Very good.
Yes,
it is an inventory. Seeds, raw material കിടക്കാണ്. I have brought some fertilizers. അതും എന്റെ സ്റ്റോക്കിൽ ഇരിക്കുകയാണ്. അത് എന്താണ്? What is that?
Inventory.
Now ഞാൻ ചില സാധനങ്ങൾ I have already sowed the fields and നട്ടു. I have sowed the seeds. I have put some fertilizer, whatever be. ഇതൊക്കെ ചെയ്ത് it is not yet I have time to sow what ആയിട്ടില്ല. But it's already on the field. What do I call that?
Sir, an asset.
Of course, it is an asset. But is it inventory?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Then what can we have? Do we have a better term? Work in progress. I didn't intend to say that, but because you are going beyond, I'm saying it. It is normally called work in progress. Work in progress. This is not a new word. When you are going through roads, if some road work is coming, they'll keep a board, work in progress. Have you seen that? WIP. Okay. So the thing is that asset, individual seeds and this under process, something under process, this is already in the field. So this is also an inventory and it's also an asset. But there is a small difference between that inventory and asset. Because say for example, when your seeds, when you purchase seeds for say 10,000 rupees and you put it in the godown. But
sir, raw products are lesser than finished products.
What happens here? You have not only taken that seeds for some work or that cement or whatever you have, bricks and all you have taken. Not only that, you have spent money on that. You have also given some labor, some wages to some people who are working there. So that also has added to this, right? right?
Yes, sir.
But that value has also come into this. So this is something much more valuable than the inventory you're holding. Is this clear?
Yes,
Is this
sir.
clear? Okay. Now what will happen to this? One day this will finish, and then you will convert this to a different type of asset, which is called fixed asset. Wait, I'm not saying much about that. And then it starts generating income. Now it is not generating income because it is only halfway. But one day from inventory, it will go to work in progress. And then as we finish the work, and also say a big building, sometimes 2-story will be finished. Then immediately what you will do, you will rent out that 2 stories for somebody and it will generate income. But the 3rd floor and 4th floor again will be going under construction. Clear? Clear? Clear?
Yes.
So ഇവിടെയൊക്കെ a finance person's brilliance will come. ഇവിടെയാണ് this is not just about classification accounting. It's not just about accounting. Okay, don't worry about it is not at all about accounting, simply accounting. This is about how you are thinking. Being, suppose you are the owner, how you should be thinking. Oh, I should finish this 2 floors. Your plan should be like that. Not say, okay, construct everything, let the structure come up first totally. That means you are going to wait for 2 years for everything to come up. You will not start generating income. Your money will be going from your loan, that this. How you should plan? When somebody gives you a design, you should say, okay, wait. How many floors are there? 4 floors. Okay, fine. Okay, what is your plan of construction? This. So see, I want 2 floors to be ready, this much square feet to be ready by 1 year. And rest it can come. So within 1 year, I will see that is finished. I will inaugurate that. I will finish all the work related to that, and I will start renting it out. That will bring my income. When that income is, I'll generate income. I need not take more loans, right? This is how financial management is done.
Yes.
That is why this classification has to be done. That is why this thought process should come. It is not just about getting something and putting it and accounting it and showing, sir, this is accounted, this is accounted. No, it is about financial management, financial planning, how you plan your resources, right? Fine. Now this is another thing. Tax unpaid, that is what is written. Unpaid tax. What is this?
Expense.
Please,
So
everybody can
tax is
say.
a liability.
Liability.
Liability is a tax.
Liability. Rudish has said expense. Some others are saying liability.
Sir, unpaid tax in the sense I didn't get it.
So you are given a second chance. Are you changing your?
No, sir, like I didn't get unpaid tax means one day you'll have to pay the tax.
Of course you have to pay tax.
So then for sure it'll be expense, right?
When? No, I'm telling you. I have. I'm giving you a. Suppose I have to give you something. I'm saying, see, 5,000 rupees unpaid tax. I'm giving you something. You are a person who is doing some financial management. I'm saying 5,000 rupees unpaid tax. Unpaid tax. How will you classify it? This is a question.
So do you mean by black money or something?
Black money എന്നല്ല ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്. Black money എന്ന് ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത് എന്താ? Why do you say black money?
Sir, which is not shown to the government.
No, it is already. Why it is called unpaid taxes? Not because I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to say. We are not anyhow going to teach anything about black money or something. This is something government has already. See, it is already due. It's already due, and I am not yet paid. This happens in everyone's life. Something is already due. So you have to pay your building tax every year in the start of the month, or so after 3 months or 6 months, that tax is due, but you are not yet paid it. This happens in most of people's lives. So it is already due. It is due to the government. So how do you classify it? Did you understand my question? Did you understand my question?
Yes, sir.
ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ? Did you understand? Do you understand my question? That's the answer അല്ല ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കുന്നത്.
So,
You are having a building, your house in property tax കൊടുക്കണം, and every year കൊടുക്കണം, and every financial year എന്താണെന്നൊക്കെ we'll see later. April 1st ആകുമ്പോൾ or say April, May, June, July, August, September first half കഴിയുമ്പോൾ it is due, or April 1st it is due. Amount is say 5,000 rupees. That 5,000 rupees, if you are a financial person who is controlling your finance of your family, what does that, will it come under which category? Asset or liability or expense or income? ഇതാണ് ചോദ്യം.
So it will be in the inventory, right?
Inventory means you had something stock ഒക്കെ ഉള്ളതല്ലേ. Complicated, don't think complicated. I don't want it, we don't want any see, it's like a loan. No, you have to pay one day. What is the doubt of that? You have to pay. So it's a liability. I am not going for a more discussion on this. I'll just clarify. Yeah, I'll just clarify with a practical thing what is happening in our day-to-day world. That is what is important here. It is a liability. What Jyotish said, and what I think all of you were thinking, it is a liability. Your common sense told you it is a liability, but you thought beyond common sense, and you were trying to say, oh, this is an asset, this is an income, this is black money, that is what happened. I know that each one of you, with the when I asked the question, in your everyone's mind, the thought was it is a liability, because I was very clear. April 1, that is due, you have to pay. What is it? It is a liability, but you just thought more into it and got a bit confused. That's what I feel. I think I am right. Now the question here is not that all those things. Question here is, suppose you are selling this, you are owning this building, you are owning this building, you have not paid your taxes. You're not. There are a lot of people who delays paying taxes.
Yes, sir.
I'm not saying showing records badly and cheating the government. I'm not saying about that. That is different. I'm saying tax has to be paid. I have not paid so far. It is delayed. I have to pay 1 year or 2 years tax. Suppose you take your family. Your family is in Muscat. You have a property. You ask your father. You have a property in Kerala or Tamil Nadu. You are there. You have not paid the tax for 3 years. You ask your father. Yeah, it may be like that. That's not saying he is a bad person. He has not paid, because if it would have been online and you could have paid, but there is nobody there in your native place to see it. So you must not have paid. Now you are going to sell that. You want to sell that to a person. That person, does he know? You are fixing the how much to use that person. You are saying, oh, this is you are selling that property for 30 lakhs. Okay. And once 30 lakhs, you're selling that property. Next day, that person, oh, 30 lakhs. It was a good deal. He's thinking. The next day, that government people is coming to you and saying, hey, sir, you have to pay an amount of 30,000 rupees. Then you say, what is this? See, you are not paid the tax. This normally will not happen, because only if you clear your tax, you can sell. Okay, don't worry about that. The thing is, your family, you have not accounted that amount which has to be paid early. What you are doing is, only when you are paying, you are putting it as an expense and paying the tax. But you are not showing that it is already accrued. It is already to be paid. You have not put it. Because you have not put it, actually you are not showing the correct value in your books. Is it clear? Is this conceptually?
Yes,
Conceptually, account all those things, don't be worried now. Conceptually, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
This happens. So we have covered a lot of things now. So that's why I put in liability. Okay. So I am finishing this one. So what we have studied is, take away from so far what we have discussed is, money takes many forms. I think this is clear to you, isn't it? Very, very clear.
yes, sir.
Nobody from now on, you should not say that I have cash and that is only money. This dinar is only money. Dollar is only money. It is around you. Money is always around you. Money only changes from one form to another. You have cash with you, you pay cash and get your mobile. Mobile is a form of money, costing 12,000 rupees. Mobile is coming to you, cash is going out. Isn't it? That means this change of form from one form to another. You have 30 lakhs in your bank account. Tomorrow it is not there. It has come in the form of a building. You have 7 lakh in your bank account. You're buying a car. 7 lakh is no longer there. Your bank account form of money will come down. Your car bank form of money will go up. This is happening in daily life. This is what is happening. And this is money management. This is accounting. This is finance related activity. This change, how do you manage it? So now the question is, now the third point is, and this form, broadly you can say asset, liability, income, expense. Now, what is the prudent? Prudent means, the meaning of word prudent means the best or the logical, the best or rational, or I'll say the best, we can say. What is the best way of managing? Is it simply spending this? Okay, what is happening? Oh, we have a property. This property is there. Okay, how much is that? 10 lakhs. Sell it. For what? I want to live a good life here. I want to sell that, and I want to, that is created by my father. My father has worked for a long, very long period. He was working. He created a lot of assets. My father, he worked hard, very hard, and he created a lot of assets. He created building. He created something that was there for rent, etc. And now you are not doing anything. You are not generating income. You are not working and generating income. Still, you want your expenses. Your expenses you cannot reduce. So now you have taken, oh, why not? One form of asset is there. One form of money is there already with me. What is that? That building. Are sell it there. If you sell it, what will happen? That building form will no longer be there, but cash will come to you, correct? And then slowly from that cash, you are starting your expenses. Right? Right? This is happen. This can happen. Is that good? Or do we have to do that? Is there any other alternative? Sometimes you may have to do that. Sometimes you may have to do that. But is there any alternative? Are we in a position to do that? I have some asset with me, and that is giving me income. That is giving me income. So should I sell that? If somebody says, I am just selling that. Why? I am just selling that here. Hey, tomorrow that is for your child, for your children coming up. Tomorrow that will be useful. Why you should sell that? These questions will come up in your daily life, not only in your daily life, in your family. Your father is thinking like that. In your society, in your joint family, in your organization, in government. Even government, the people will be thinking that way. This is there. Everybody has this asset, liability. That's this. How do you manage? Which is good? You should be able to take a position. No. Do we have alternative? No. What is good? Asset. No. Oh. For that only we understood this classification. Sometimes it may be good. Sometimes it may be not be good. That management is what all this is about. But next, what we are going to do is, next tomorrow, we are going to take some, different forms of money, etc., etc. Let us take some case studies. Case studies already we have taken, okay. Already we have taken it. How many cases we discussed? Insurance, that, this, all this we have discussed. Just talked about it. Now I'll take some cases. I'll give you what, say your education. Sadish was say education, building a house. This is all which comes in your family, in your daily life. Your father may be thinking, oh, should we buy a new house? Oh, that is by, or your children's education. Your brother may be now going for higher studies. Should he go for higher studies? Or should he take up a job? What should be done? Or after finishing higher studies, everything, your parents have, your brother has taken a loan or sister has taken a loan. Your sister has taken a loan maybe and finished her education. She has finished education and you were expecting that she will do a job and bring salary. But now she says, I want to start business. She is very passionate about, she has some friends, they have come together and they are have an idea. They want to start a business. Oh my God, business. If it is if she goes for a job, we'll get salary from the next month itself. She is saying she wants to go for business. My loan is still pending. What to do? All this comes in your life. Now it is with your father, maybe parents. Tomorrow it's for you. You may also have to be when it's coming. When you say I want to do this, you must know when I am doing this. This is what is the implication. That is why we are having this course. We'll discuss some cases that way and just think what is the pros and cons. You know, this decision means what? This decision means what? This decision means what? This decision means what? We'll have some few cases, and you can debate. I am not going to debate. You can take that and debate.